The second semi-final in the Pettitts Senior Hurling Championship is at 4:15 on Sunday, and it's between St Anne's and the county champions Shelmaliers. So, Ed, what are your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a close one. Like, the Annes are the most improved team in the championship, and as I keep saying, they always turn up on the day of the match, and the quality players all through, and the young lads are playing really well for them, you know. And sure, Shells, there was a major game against Gorey last week, 2 sending-offs probably was a factor in it, but the Shells are county champions and they're not county champions for nothing, and anything that's thrown in front of them they seem to be able to deal with it, you know. But of course, as I keep saying, winning back-to-back county titles is not easy.
Des?
Yeah, I agree with Ed. It's going to be a really close game, but I've been really impressed with the Annes. I seen him the first match against Ballymurn. I wasn't impressed with him. I thought Ballymurn should have beaten him that night. But since the Oulart match, they've been using the ball really well, and the last game again, they were really good. But I think it's based from their back line. I think Shockman, Fiona Driscoll, Ben Kavanagh, they've all come into their own from the 4 games. I think it helped them being in a group of 4 because it helped them to blood them. The Shells are using the ball really well, and they're slow at the back to build up, and they want the right ball in. I think it's going to be an intriguing kind of a battle, I think, because both of them don't want to play the wrong ball in. But I think what might come in the Anne's advantage, they have 2 big men in the full forward line, and Dylan O'Brien and John Fogarty. Shells are not massively big in the full back line, and I think if the Anne's can get the right ball in, it definitely can trouble the Shells.
And Benny?
Yeah, look, I seen the Shells playing the other day there against Gorey, and they done everything in ease, you know. Gorey got the field and score, and Shells just went back down the field and they were able to do it easier. They have a lot of momentum going forward. Simon Donoghue is just orchestrating everything there from the backs, and then as the lads up front, Ross Bamble, Sean King Carroll, Owen Doyle there again midfield as well, you know, still battling away. But as regards the Annes, they have gotten better. Their 6 backs were very good the other day against Ratnure, and you've Liam McGovern and you've Dee O'Keefe there. You know, once you've them 2 boys firing on all cylinders, you know, I think they'll give any team trouble going forward. And
Des, would it be fair to describe St Anne's as the flair team here, whereas the Shelmaliers are the best team in the county at playing to a system? Would you agree with that?
Yeah, the Annes wouldn't probably be associated with being a flair team over the years. You know, they would have been probably, you know, workmanlike and hard to play again. But this team is definitely different. They're after changing with the hurling in Wexford has changed over the last 4 years since Davy came in. Every team wants to use the ball. Really, that's, you know, you don't give away ball or you're in trouble. I think it's especially vital again the Shells that you don't hit balls to their keeper, because he set up 5 or 6 scores last FM1. He's so, you know, precise in what he does when the ball lands short. He wants to play it out to the half back line. I think the Anne's work rate is going to have to be really high in the forwards and push the likes of Glenn Malone back down the field, and you know, the likes of Liam Rochford. Mark Furlong has had a big championship as well. You know, we haven't said much about him. He's tipped over 3 or 4 points from play. Liam Rochford got 4 points from play the last day, and you know, Dee O'Keefe was quiet the last day, so the Anne's still put up a huge score. But I just think the Anne's might have a bit much for the Shells in this one.
And Ed, we've seen some good on both sides. We've seen some good defenders coming onto the scene. Really, Aidan Cash's injury has meant maybe a chance for Aaron Doyle. We could have mentioned him in the Player of the Week video. He's been very good at the cornerback position for the Shelmaliers, and we have Owen Ryan and Liam Shockman and Brian Kavanagh, as Des has mentioned.
Yeah, I mentioned Aaron Doyle today the other night. I was majorly impressed with him, you know. And the fact that the Annes are able to, who I would consider their best defender, Kenny Clooney, is not available through injury. He broke a foot actually against Mernagh, you know. So there's a lot of good backs. Of course, we keep mentioning Owen Ryan and we keep mentioning Liam Shockman, but there's a lot of good defenders on both sides.
So again, while the camera's on you, Ed, who's going to win the game?
Yeah, as I keep saying, it's definitely going to be close. There's no doubt about that. But I just think that the Shells might have enough. But you must remember now that the Shells team that won the championship last year, there's possibly 5 of that starting 15 missing. So I think the Shells might have enough, but no better team to spoil a party than the Annes.
Des?
Yeah, I just think the Annes are going to win this, but you know, I think their forward line, I think Liam McGovern obviously is a big thing here, and Aidan Rochford, I think the move out to middle of the field is a good move. It gives them energy going forward. I think if they push Liam McGovern in full forward, maybe, and get Simon Donoghue occupied with him, I think that the Ans are going to win this one.
Benny?
Yeah, I think the Ans, they have a good spread of scorers throughout the field, and I think if Lee Morgan, Dee and Mark Furlong really step up to the plate, they have a great chance. But on the other side of things, the Shells, they're not going to go away lightly. They're county champions for a reason, but I'm going to shade the Ans.
And I'm actually going to go with the Ans as well. The game in the group stages between these two sides was quite tight. It was 3-14 to 20 points, I think, to the Shelmaliers. But I was very impressed with St Anne's in their last two games since then. I think they're improving, and I think they might spring the surprise here.